and welcome to Pure GT Social Races. Hopefully you guys can hear me, and yes, you should be able to, as well as potentially the music in the background. Potentially not though, however. I hope you're okay, I hope you're doing well. As I said, welcome to Pure GT. We're not at Interlagos. I don't know why that says Interlagos, I have updated it, but we are at the world famous Imola, not Imola's. You know what I mean. Imola. We are at Imola for the Pure GT Social Races. If you're not familiar with the format, we have 3 races coming up this evening from all of Imola's greatest circuits and corners. We have, just counting, 19 drivers joining us for Dallara F3 action. My name is Jack Oliphant. Now, normally I am joined by another commentator for this evening, but he doesn't seem to have turned up just yet. But hopefully we will be sooner rather than later. They are into qualifying, I believe, now. So let's go ahead and look over and see how on earth they're getting on. Well, you can see actually over there, they're not getting on particularly brilliantly at the moment. But there we go. We'll have a look in a second. And here we go then. Hopefully you guys should be able to hear it, although I fear that you may not be able to hear what is coming out. Let me just fix that right now, see if I can get that set up for us. Sorry, I don't know. My broadcasting system wasn't working when I booted the PC originally up, and now it seems to have stopped the audio as well. So if you just give me 2 minutes, I'll try and figure that one out. Apologise about this, everybody. I'm just going to send you to a quick break screen just while we try and figure out why on earth there is no audio. Back in a sec. Right, we are back, and we didn't actually miss much of qualifying whatsoever. Apologies about that. It was it's always the way, isn't it? You search for ages, and then it's a bit of a silly mistake to begin with. So apologies, but we do have audio now. We do have cars out on circuit. These drivers are on their now first flying lap of the event. So let's go and have a look and see how they're getting on. First of all, thank you very much, KTs, for the like and the share on the streams as well. It's always a pleasure to have you watching, I'm sure, and I hope you guys will start enjoying the racing and qualifying as soon as we're about to get going. As you can see on your screen, having a bit of an off there is Mark Hoskin. Now, Hoskin obviously a little bit, well, we saw him going into the walls. He's always a driver that we see sort of relatively, well, quite a lot. It's quite distinctive in that BDM sort of livery, but never really sort of troubling the top sitters in qualifying. Let's see if that can get proven wrong. Chris Knox isn't here tonight. Apparently he's had a bit of a long day at work. He's always sort of travelling back from work and jumping on at this at the last minute, so he was decided that it probably wasn't worth it tonight. He decided that he's not going to try and turn up this evening, which is absolutely fine. We'll have some great fun without him, I'm sure. And hopefully a lot of these drivers will show us what they're capable of as well. Because I don't think anybody who is a regular visitor of the Pure GT series can necessarily say it's always clean racing. So, yeah, with any luck, everybody has sort of practiced as much as they can. And we won't be seeing that Ferrari with the green looking M on the back of it this time round, unfortunately for Chris Knox. But John Westbrook, a driver who is quite often towards the front end of the field, is right exactly there. Having said that, there are only 3 drivers that have set a lap time so far, and he's currently splitting the 3 of them, and he's also splitting the tyre wall, going straight into the barrier there underneath the bridge, and having to pull away to maybe get around to start another lap. Luckily for him, there is no damage. There is no damage for any of these drivers, in fact, so they get an opportunity, even if they do put it into the wall, not even to have to spawn back to the pits. They just get back going and away they go, which is exactly what John Westbrook has done there. Anthony Mott, the Excite driver, got a couple of wins last time out at Interlagos. He's probably hoping to do exactly the same thing here at the end of qualifying, maybe put it on pole position, which is exactly where he finds himself currently sat. If anybody hasn't been here before, in the Pure GT series, we have 3 races. They're all 15 minutes. 2 of them are back-to-back, which will be kicking off in about 5 minutes' time. I think there is a 10-minute qualifying session. In fact, we can bring up the session time up at the top there of your screen. There we go. So we're about a third of the way through it. It's not 10 minutes. It's a full 15, which I suppose Imola is a bit of a longer circuit, so they have every opportunity to make sure they're getting the good laps in. And like you said, even the likes of John Westbrook can end up falling a victim to the twisty and windy circuit that is Imola. Apologies, it get me a tongue twister indeed as well. As you can see, plenty of chicanes to start off the lap. And in fact, we may well go on board as Alec Westbrook puts it on pole position with his first flying lap. Half a second quicker than Anthony Mott here, who is going wide as Westbrook goes wide, and then Mott goes into the wall just like Westbrook did, and that is I think maybe where we're going to see quite a lot of drivers doing exactly the same thing. Kevin McGlone here, he was the first to set a lap time. He's in 8th position, and it's not the driver I was actually looking for. I think it was Barry Rabbit. Now I'm not sure who it was. It was going through and having to dive up to the out of the way of those drivers who were spinning. But as Barry Rabbit comes across the line, he does set a purple for 5th sector, which puts him good enough for 2nd position, 4 thousandths of a second ahead of Anthony Mott. So no one touching Alec Westbrook just yet. That's not the first lap that Barry Rabbit has completed, but it is the first lap that he has completed legally, as Alec Westbrook is coming up to finish his 3rd lap of the evening. He currently sits on pole position, and spoiler alert, he's got 2 purple sectors in this lap and 3 greens. So this could be an improvement for Alec Westbrook. As he cuts the timing line, it's a 1:38.8. No, it's not. It's a 1:37.3, and he smashed his own pole position time by half a second, which has put him nearly a second clear of 2nd place. Barry Rabbit, not Gary Rabbit. Don't know who that is, but Barry Rabbit. So Mark Hoskin again struggling slightly there, just as we cut to him off track. A few drivers on green times. As I said, that's not really difficult. There's only 10 positions that have actually been put out there so far. There is out of 19 drivers, so we'll see the timing tower pick up again a little bit as more drivers set their flying lap times. And as I said, majority of drivers, bar Alex Martin, have set times. They just haven't set legal times. So the likes of Paul Black, Andy Montgomery. Andy Montgomery is actually on his 4th lap now. This will be the 5th by the time he finishes this one. He's currently not set a legal time. Adam Hayes is about to finish his 4th. Mark Hoskin on his 4th. And Paul Black about to finish his 4th. Is it going to be a legal lap time for Paul Black? It's 4 green sectors. 1 slightly slower, but it's good enough to put him into P9. Just ahead of Christian Wafer, and I mean just ahead of Christian Wafer. Max Hunt and Richard Abra going nice and close as well by the looks of it, as Max Hunt ventures off track just a touch. Paul Donkin, a driver who I haven't seen before, so maybe new to the series. He's in 2nd place. Cut the time down slightly to Alec Westbrook, but it's still nowhere really near, is it? As Barry Rabbit, a 10th off Paul Donkin. I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Peter. Sorry, I'm getting it all mixed up. His name is Paul Donkin. Keep that in mind, even if I say Peter. I don't know why I want to say Peter. Been watching Spider-Man. Westbrook is right up there, behind the other Westbrook. Oh, Anthony Mott puts in a flying time, half a second off Alec now. I tell you what, it's taken him a couple more laps to get there, though. He's now slotted himself into 2nd place, just ahead of John Westbrook, as he saw himself get up to 2nd, only momentarily. And it looks like they're fairly even, aren't they, in the top 5? Barry Rabbit, Donkin, Westbrook, Mott, and then, obviously, half a second ahead of all of them is Alec Westbrook. But the 2nd down to 5th, very tight at the moment. And then Hunt Abra, less than a 10th of a second. Thomas and Montgomery, just a couple of tenths behind each other as well. And then there is a bit of a gap behind, but some drivers wanting to get a quicker lap time after a pit stop, one of which was Barry Rabbit, who's gone into 2nd place here, 0.4 of a second, but that's still a 10th, well, just under a 10th of a second ahead of Mott. So good things coming there by Barry Rabbit. Mott has set a purple 1st sector, but Alec Westbrook has set a purple 2nd sector. So Alec's not done getting time out of this track, that's for sure. It looks like he's not necessarily going to get the quicker time here, because he's greened 1, he's purpled 1, he's purpled 2 though. He's set a flying 5th sector, a 1:37.5, 2 tenths off. Still good enough for pole position though, even if he didn't have his flying lap time. Anthony Mott then, he's got 1 purple sector, 2 greens and a yellow. Let's see what the 5th one has in store for him. He's going to take some beating, though, to catch up to Alec Westbrook. Anthony Mott, he puts a green sector in for the 5th one, and it's pole position for Anthony Mott. 10 minutes in, under 5 to go, and Alec Westbrook finally has his top step dispossessed from him by less than a 10th of a second. Who else is on flying laps then? It's hard to see down the order. It doesn't look like anybody's on a purple lap, but Barry Rabbit has put some greens in there so far. Another driver who could potentially get a little bit closer. I don't think with the times that he's been putting in the sectors, he's going to really be troubling Anthony Mott or Alec Westbrook. And as he misses the apex, I think he may do well just to try and improve on where he is at the moment. In terms of time, I don't think he's going to improve on terms of the finishing order here in qualifying. Barry comes across the line. It looks like it's majority yellow sectors, which means it won't be an improvement. And in fact, I don't think it was even a legal lap time in the end. I tell you what, Anthony Mott has purpled sector 2 yet again. He's looking good. He's got the other 2 are slightly off though. Alec Westbrook and John Westbrook still finding time out there. Martin Thomas has set a green sector 5. And what can Anthony Mott do? Can he improve on his time? As I said, he was quickest around his last lap. He's quickest at the moment in sector 2. The rest of his lap doesn't look like it's been so hot, but maybe he's going to get away with that one as he comes across the line to break the timing beam. Anthony Mott with another yellow sector. It's a 137.2 now. He is improved by half a tenth of a second. Now, you may think that's not an awful lot, but when you're talking about fine margins like we're dealing with here, it can be an absolute mountain for the like of Alec Westbrook. Richard Abra gone into third place, missed that one. He's gone slotted nicely in there with 3 green sector times in that previous lap. Hello and welcome to all the viewers. I do hope you're enjoying yourself on this Wednesday night. Thank you very much for tuning in instead of potentially going out to the pubs or wherever you may well end up in the evenings these days. We're probably going to start seeing a slight decline in esports, but I think it'll pick back up again nicely as people get used to going back to work, going back to social lives outside and everything like that. I think it's going to be an interesting year for sim racing to see if they can potentially keep up the driver bases that we've had in the last year or so. I certainly hope we do, that's for sure. Alec Westbrook on another purple sector in Sector 2. He's taken that away from Anthony Mott. He's also set a green Sector 1. His Sectors 3 and 4 haven't been so hot, but as he comes across the line, is he going to get that extra tenth of a second that he needs to take pole position off him? No, it doesn't even look like it was a legal time in the end by John Westbrook, where Richard Abra's setting purple times left, right and centre. He's green the first one. Sector 3 and 4 both purple. This could be big movements for Richard Abra. Could he take his first pole position as the driver flies off? No! He comes into the pits. And I can't quite believe that. Well, with 13, nearly 14 minutes gone, Richard Abra dives into the pits after he was setting the timing screen alight. Maybe he messed up the penultimate corner or the final corner, came out of it knowing he wasn't going to get any better than that. Interesting to see, though. As I said, if I was on some purple sectors, I'd probably be flying to try and get them in. Martin Thomas setting greens all over the place, by the way. And so is Alex Martin, all the way down in 11th position. Struggling to maybe get the car under them, to try and get the Alpine around Imola. It's so fantastic to be back here at Imola. It's a circuit that I don't cover enough, in my opinion. It's brilliant to watch. A fantastic overtaking opportunities. I think the most recent time I was covering an Imola race was, as Alex Martin goes wide, unfortunately, was a Skip Barber series. And if anybody is unaware what Skip Barbers are, they're basically what you're looking at, but small. No, Martin Thomas, you were on greens. You were going to fly up the order. Oh, that is absolutely gutting. So as we see, Martin Thomas and Alex Martin mess up their final laps. It is going to be the checkered flag, and I think Martin Thomas would have just about got there, so a big shame for him. But as we grid up, we can start having a look forward to the first race of the evening, and it is Anthony Mott on pole position, just ahead of Alec Westbrook by half a second in the end. I'm not sure if that's right. If it is, that's astonishing. And Anthony Mott must have put another... In fact, Anthony Mott definitely did put another time in, because he got a 136.8, the only driver to do that. Richard Abra then ends up 0.8 of a second back down into third. Barry Rabbit in fourth. John Westbrook in fifth. Paul Donkin sixth. Martin Thomas in seventh. Max Hunt in eighth. Andy Montgomery in ninth place. Mark Hoskin 10th. Alex Martin and Michael Tucker 11th and 12th. Then 13th sees Paul Black, Christian Wafer, Sutavala, Hayes, Gevorgian, Kevin McGlone, and Steve Gummer. As a driver, it looks like we're going for a standing start here this evening. Well, this will be interesting. We're used to seeing a rolling start here today, but it looks like we're going for the standing start, which will be interesting. We haven't seen a standing start since Brands Hatch GP when we first started covering the F3 machines. So in Ferrari GT3s before that, everybody was getting a bit bored of that. So we're going to decide to go to the F3s, and we're going to go to the standing start yet again as the lights come on, the engine notes rise, and we are away, and it looks like everybody is facing... No, in the background there's people not facing the same direction. But Anthony Mott gets away with a good start with Alec Westbrook hunting hot on the heels in the Tom and Jerry machine, but that looks like Barry Rabbit flying around the outside. Fantastic opening move there into the first corner and into the apex of the second corner. Anthony Mott leading the way ahead of everybody else, though, from Alec Westbrook. Barry Rabbit, Richard Abra, and then Alec Westbrook all the way down here. Martin Thomas flying through. Oh, and there we go, Alec losing it. Luckily, just keeping it out of everybody else's way. There's been plenty of action. There's still plenty of action behind. Richard Aber's facing the wrong way, and they're on the racing line. Good evasive action by Havana Shavorgian, I believe that was, or Adam Hayes, actually. And Richard Aber now turns back around and hopefully doesn't get collected by anybody else. It's a tight squeeze there, isn't it? Mark Hoskin up 5 positions. I said the driver wasn't necessarily challenging for qualifying on pole position, but even racing, as the cameras cut to him, he makes a mistake, unfortunately. But KTM says much better than a rolling start, and I tend to agree with you. I'd say it takes a lot to get all these cars off the line, and it takes an awful lot of skill, and I think, you know, it really shows that the drivers who have led away from this race have done a fantastic job. Havana Shavorgian's up 10 positions, but we're currently looking at the driver who's leading in Anthony Mott. John Westbrook then, we saw Alec Westbrook in 2nd place. Well, it's John now, because Alec is all the way down. Where is Alec? In 8th position. Wow, that's not ideal for the Westbrook brother. Martin Thomas up 4 positions to gain into 3rd, so although he maybe had a spin coming out of the final corner in qualifying, he maybe got away with it. Maybe he was in a better position because of it. You know, you never know. Sometimes that happens. Barry Rabbit, after what can only be described as a fantastic, unbelievable move into the corners you're seeing here, he's all the way down in 5th position, just behind Mark Hoskin now. So Barry probably not getting what he feels he deserves off the first lap after making contact. I believe it wasn't with Alec Westbrook. We'll actually have a look. I think it was Richard Abra who's currently running in 12th place. So that just goes to show the Pure GT, you can always count on them to mix the order up, and the only driver who's really ever safe, and that's only if they get a clean start off the line, is the pole position man, and that at the moment is Anthony Mott. Thanks to the fact we do have rolling starts, which, to be fair, at Interlagos did cause more trouble than they were worth. We can actually see races, the crashes that are actually relevant as Max Hunt goes through on Michael Tucker. In fact, everybody's going through on Michael Tucker. And that is why he comes sneaking around the corner like a dog with his tail between his knees. He's definitely done something wrong, hasn't he? As he cuts across the grass again. Not sure what he's doing, to be honest, because he won't have damage on his car. These cars don't have damage on, so that's an interesting one. Let's have a look and see how Steve Gummer ended up having an incident. I'm guessing this is wheel spin off the line. Oh, yeah, and yeah, a couple of drivers, and then with Steve Gummer going off there as well, as you can see. I think that was Anis Sutavala was another driver that was doing exactly the same thing. Let's have a quick glance. Oh, a late getaway for Sutavala, and did he get rear-ended? Yeah, he did, by the spinning car there of Kevin McGlone, I believe. Then Max Hunt had an incident going into what looks like the first corner, second corner. Coming out of it. No, there we go. Coming out of the 4th, actually, with Alec Westbrook as well. A couple of drivers spinning in sympathy, and then a hit at the backside. To be honest, let's go back live and have a look and see what's happening up and down the order. Paul Black and Max Hunt getting nice and close. I don't know why it's on roll bar. There we go. Paul Black and Max Hunt. Then this is a fight for 7th position. Paul Black, a driver who has improved quite a lot, I would say, since we started viewing this. He's definitely sort of kept himself out of trouble a little bit, but as he looks like he's got a fight on his hand here for 7th place. Sorry about that. Mark Hoskin in 2nd, in 12th. Oh no, Mark, as we cut to you, turns around. Oh, that's absolutely gutting there by Mark Hoskin. He's struggling to get the car now turned around. He's lost a whole host of places. Now down to 14th. As we cut to him, he was in 10th. Christian Wafer here on Adam Hayes. Christian going up the inside, and it's a good... No, it's not. It's Adam Hayes going up the inside. Apologies there. As Christian makes the apex, Adam doesn't. And it's wide, and Adam loses out on that position that he worked so hard to get. It looked like it was a good opportunity and good move by him, but it wasn't necessarily to be. Adam Hayes really in the slipstream now to try and get that move back, and as he glitches in and out of existence, we'll focus on Christian Wafer here. Adam Hayes now gotten ahead of him. It's almost like hitting DRS with the slipstream there, isn't it? A huge boost forward for him. A really good move there by Adam Hayes, and this time he's not managed to make it stick. I was looking at my timing tower. Adam Hayes goes straight off the track. He doesn't want this 12th position, does he? He just wants rid of it every single time. Let's have a look and see how on earth he did it. Well, he's lagging in and out. He should reappear at some point. There we go. All of a sudden, he's off the circuit. Cutting it completely and back on as he rejoins. Kevin McGlone, then a driver we often see right at the front, is not necessarily enjoying himself too much here. He's got Mark Hoskin, who we've seen pretty much in every single battle so far. And there's contact between Kevin McGlone and Alex Martin, or Steve Gummer, I think. I think it was Steve Gummer in the end. Martin goes through on Mark Hoskin. Hoskin then gets a little tap wide, I would say. Nothing too threatening, but Alex attacking now on Kevin McGlone. As I said, this is a fight that we normally see towards the sharper end of the field as the Alpine slots the way through. Alex Martin making moves. Paul Donkin then in 4th position, a driver that we haven't seen before, showed good promise in qualifying. Looks like he's struggling to hold on to this 4th position. Well, we know Alec Westbrook is a keen fighter. He's a tough competitor. I think we may well see a change. Apologies, I've got the hiccups, and when we haven't got a co-commentator, that's a bit of a problem. So apologies if you hear me hiccuping. It's not your stream lagging out, it is just me. I will try and get rid of them as soon as possible, but as I said, when we haven't got a co-commentator, this is possibly the worst thing that oh my god, can happen to you. I'm just going to try and get rid of these. Big spin there by Alec Westbrook. I'm going to go ahead and claim that they're gone now. If I'm wrong, you guys will have to tell me a way of getting rid of the hiccups. Havanas Javorgian goes through as well. And what was Alec Westbrook doing there? Look, we didn't quite have a good enough look from it. Did he go through? Was there contact? It looked like a heavy defensive maneuver by Donkin. Up the inside. Oh, I think, well, to be fair to Donkin, that is a brave move from Westbrook to try and go round the outside there. It is very, very tricky. And as we go on board with the driver, oh, he's going for an apex. I mean, I think Donkin was always going to be there. And unfortunately, I don't think Donkin could have really done anything else. As Javorgian and Westbrook now go side by side. In fact, no, Javorgian's just let him have that one as he, Westbrook goes flying into the first and second corner, rounds out the third, and not even a problem for him, is there, going in through there to retake at least into the top 5. He's got quite a way to go to pick up that fight that he was just having with Donkin. 8 odd seconds to be precise. Oh, not very precise, to be an estimate, granted. But Donkin's actually gone through, and Martin Thomas, has he got a slowdown? That'd be a very odd place for Martin to have a slowdown here. But he's bleeding time like nothing else. Has he had a hardware issue? Has he gone off? Let's see if we can find out. There's so many people going off track here. It's actually difficult to find. He goes, oh no, he straight up just has a spin into the tyre wall. Little tap, ends up facing it, spins it back round again. Another little tap. And yeah, now is managing to get on going, but as Paul Donkin goes through, and that was actually the massive gap that he had. He had 11 seconds at one point. Now it's completely disappeared, and now it is Donkin to John Westbrook. Now 12 seconds. Anthony Mottle rounds out the 7th lap. Now, sorry, 6th lap to start the 7th, and also still in the lead by 6 odd seconds. If anybody had actually forgotten where he is. Barry Rabbit, a driver that we saw qualify in the top 3. Not really having it his own way, though, is he? He was a fantastic move into turn 1. One that I am trying to find again, to be honest. Just because it was already one of the moves of the evening. And, well, that's not saying a lot. But I think it was for P3 on Richard Abra here. Now just keep an eye on Barry Rabbit. He Flies around the outside there, and then I think he dies. Alec Westbrook, there we go. It's on Alec Westbrook around the outside of T1. On the inside of T2, just leans a little bit on Alec, which puts him into the poo, shall we say, for the rest of this little battle here. And in fact, if you have a look at Alec Westbrook, I think he's about to get a tap from Martin Thomas. No, and then he loses it on the exit there, doesn't he? So Alec will be ruining the fact that he obviously let Barry Rabbit maybe have the apex as cleanly as he did. But who's that? Is that Javort? Who is that? I'm not sure who that was who's just gone off. I think it was Paul Black. It was Paul Black. The 111 car ended up with a little bit of a spin. Ends up down now in P10. Kevin McGlone, I tell you what, 4 seconds back. But with a fantastic run on Paul Black potentially. Could see this going his way. But no, Paul doesn't actually lose as much time as I did think originally. All the drivers seem to have just sort of space themselves out a little bit. So as we're sort of in a little bit of a slight lull in the race, Christian Wafer had an incident earlier on. What's going to happen to him here? Oh, he lags in and out. He goes wide and ends up keeping the power on. A little bit of a drift, but there wasn't enough speed in it to actually drift all the way to the line. Alec Westbrook having a bit of an incident. Did we see this? Oh yeah, we saw this Alec Westbrook incident. It was Anis that I was looking for. Going into what looks like the same bit of the track though. And he's loading the curb on the left. Maybe, yeah, there we go. A little bit too much power. Didn't quite get the run right through there and was keen to get back on the power. Unfortunate there by Anis. This is Mark Hoskin. Okay, chasing down Kevin McGlone. Now, this is for track position. This is for overall position, actually. Fight for 11th place in the BDM car. Tell you what, looks like he's got some good pace. That last lap, Hoskin was a full 0.3 of a second quicker than Kevin McGlone, who must not have put as much practice in as usual, because Kevin is one of the drivers that we do see right at the sharp end, especially when we haven't got the likes of Chris Knox here tonight. We would be expecting some new drivers to take some victories. I think Anthony Mott took 2 victories last time at Interlagos. Looks like the Excite driver is probably going to get a third and 4 races, shall we say, here at Imola. Not surprising, we're driving for Excite, an actual proper esports team. It sort of races the game of everybody else, I would say, trying to race in these sort of series. It's nice to see that it's getting some good, hot, competitive nature right at the front of the field. Alec Westbrook then in 5th place, hunting down Martin Thomas in 4th, setting a purple lap time on the previous lap, a 37.01 compared to a 37.85 with Martin Thomas, but Westbrook just can't keep it on the circuit, can he? That's another mistake by the, or is it still the Tom and Jerry car? It is still the Tom and Jerry car, yeah. And he just, again there, that was where he made a mistake earlier on in the first lap. But since then, it's not been faultless by Alec, which is why he's all the way down in 5th place when he really should be probably fighting for the race lead with Anthony Mott, who has just had it all his own way, hasn't he? Currently 9 laps in, hasn't been touched. No closer than 8 seconds I've seen the gap for the last 3, 4, 5 even laps. As we round out this 10-lap race, he's about to come on to the final lap of the race, the white flag lap. No one else seems particularly close to each other, so we'll just probably go for an onboard with Anthony Mott on what will be the white flag. So coming across the start-finish line now is a huge wait until you actually cross the line here at Imola, coming out the final corner, and then there's an even longer wait before you hit the first corner here, hit the past 75 yards in, outside, hit the first apex, hit the second apex, keep it slightly tight to the left, and by tight I mean middle of the road probably. Keep it on the right hand side here, look for your braking marker. Again, nice flowing, but this is the one that catches everybody out, but Anthony Mott is not phased at all. Going into the hairpin now, a late apex will give you a cleaner run up the hill, which is the probably more important of the factors. You can be fast in, slow out, but it's nearly always better to be slow in, fast out, especially if you're heading uphill or on a long flat out section. It's not quite flat out through there, maybe down one gear. Keep it left, find your braking zone. And it's a quick down the gear there, but it's a bit harsher on the brakes as we go through the right-hand flick. Don't use the curb too much on the left-hand side. It probably can quite upset this car. And into probably the slowest section of the circuit. This is where we've seen a couple of drivers make mistakes. He smashed the right-hand curb, just tickled the left-hand curb, I would say, as he runs nice and wide. Track limits letting you get away with it slightly. Keep it middle of the circuit. Hug the right-hand side now as you hit the brakes to go down the gears and go down into the towards the penultimate corner, into the final corner. And as I said, it's a long drive, but it's a drive we're going to be seeing here by Anthony Mott to take the victory for the first race of the evening here at Imola. And it's his third victory in 4 Pure GT social races, going the way of Anthony Mott. John Westbrook crossing the line now to take second place. And it looks like Paul Donkin, on from what I believe is his debut, I believe, is taking a race third place here. And a good podium to boot. Martin Thomas comes across the line to take fourth. Mark Hoskin has finally caught up to Kevin McGlone. Is it a little bit too late? That's what we're going to see in the final half of this lap, or final third of this lap, I should say. Looks like he isn't really close enough. There's only 2 heavy braking positions left. Only 1 real overtaking opportunity. Unless you use the slipstream. He tickles the inside curb. He runs a little bit wide. Has he carried the speed on? No, he's carried too much speed through. Throwing everything at it, and he's lost his opportunity to go for second place. It will be Kevin McGlone in 11th, and it will be Mark Hoskin taking 12th place away. And with the race being completed, we will bring you the race results as soon as they are available to us. And a thrilling first race we've had here. To be honest, a lot quieter than we normally have, as we see drivers spinning off, flipping off in the distance. Normally on the Pure GT social races, it is a little bit of carnage, shall we say. We saw a little bit of carnage, granted. But we also... Oh, Alec Westbrook had another incident as well, by the way. What is going on here for Alec? Oh, no. Oh, it's because we're going straight into the second race of the evening. So, just a reminder for anybody who hasn't seen this series before, it is it's a 3-race event. We go from the first race straight into the second race with no break. And then we go into the third race a little bit later on. So as you can see on your screen, we do have Paul Black on pole position, followed by Max Hunt, Michael Tucker, Barry Rabbit, Havanas Gevorgian, Alec Westbrook, Martin Thomas, Paul Donkin, John Westbrook and Anthony Mott rounding out the top 10, 11th and 12th, and Mark Hoskin and... sorry, we're actually about to go into the first race. That's what I was keeping an eye out on. But you saw the top 10 at least there. Paul Black on pole position. What's he got up his sleeve now as he gets away? And it's a good start by Paul Black. Maybe a few, yeah, I think there's a few incidents in the background already. The likes of Richard Abbott, Paul Donkin and Kevin McGlone having incidents. But it's a good start right at the front of the field. The top 6 were reversed here for the second race of the evening. And it is Paul Black to lead us away, followed by Max Hunt. And then Martin Thomas, Havanas Gevorgian in 4th, John Westbrook in 5th. And if I was a betting man, I would probably say keep an eye out on John Westbrook as Max Hunt goes wide. John Westbrook goes through on Havanas Gevorgian, who's also gone wide into that third corner. Martin Thomas trying to make moves on the race leader, but it's not quite happening just yet. Kevin McGlone and Richard Abra fighting further down. But this is the fight we're having a look at now because it's for the race lead. And on the inside goes Martin Thomas. Keep an eye on your eyes on Max Hunt as he goes past on Paul Black as well, as Paul has gone from 1st to 3rd in a matter of 1 corner. In a matter of nearly 2 corners, actually. He almost went down to 4th. Going through the right-hander then. It looks like that Martin Thomas is leading the way still. But it's not going to be easy, is it? As they pummel in towards the chicane. And it's a big, big crash by 2 drivers. It looks like there was almost 2 different incidents then, as Max Hunt has to get back going. Paul Black now retakes the race lead Alex Martin in second place, gaining 12 positions in this opening lap. Mark Hoskin gaining 9 positions into third place. Seems to be an expert in avoiding crashes, apart from his own, Mark Hoskin. John Westbrook is now in fourth, even though he was just taken out, as I believe that's Alex Martin. It is Alex Martin getting the spin back going, and that's unfortunate for them. Tell you what, there was lots of action there, and I'm going to have to go and have a look at a couple of angles from that chicane. And you know the chicane I mean, because it's where the drivers all got mixed up, wasn't it? John Westbrook, Paul Black, and Mark Hoskin are your top 3 at the moment. No, they're not. No, they're not, because John Westbrook is in a wall. The Westbrooks can't keep it on the circuit tonight. And Westbrook gone straight into the wall in 11th place. Looks like he's always trying to find the tarmac just to get the grip, just to get the power down. Coming back on in 12th place, Paul Black has gone down, and Alec Westbrook's tapped. No, that's Savannah Javorian looking very Alec Westbrookian. Oh, and he's come back on, and they've had an incident there as well. Martin Thomas and Anthony Mott. Obviously, Anthony Mott was the race victor in the first race of the evening. In 6th position at the moment, gaining 4. Don't know if he was involved in an incident at the beginning of the race, but the driver who has gained the most amount of positions is, not surprisingly, your race leader, and Mark Hoskin. We saw him driving quite heavily towards the sort of mid-race of race number 1. And when I say heavily, I mean not as smooth as some might like. But he is in second place. He is in first place at the moment. He needs to keep it consistent, though, if he wants any chance of staying there. Havana Javorian, though, hunting down the likes of Kevin McGlone, then Alex Martin in 5th place. As I said, John Westbrook would have been my driver to sort of keep an eye out on. Unfortunately, John is now all the way down in 12th place, so I very much doubt that he's going to be charging through the order, unless there is some big misunderstanding and taking out a massive amount of drivers. Anthony Mott is probably the driver, actually, that's smelling blood most of all. Mark Hoskin was the fastest man. Now it is Anthony Mott who is going up the inside of Martin Thomas. Or is Martin Thomas trying to go around the outside of Anthony Mott? I think I cut to this little battle a little bit too late to actually make a decision on that one. But Anthony Mott, regardless, has now got a huge gap. 8 tenths, nearly 1 second, actually, to the driver behind, who is being hunted by Barry Rabbit. Barry looking up the inside, but it wasn't to be. Going into the second complex, shall we say, shall we call it, here at Imola. Havana Javorian getting overtaken by Alex Martin, and a little tap means Anthony Mott goes through and into 5th place. Looks like that may have ruined the run of Alex Martin as well, and they could be a sitting duck here as Mott tries to hunt his way through. Not quite to be just yet, but you can see he's already caught at the backside of Alex Martin. Kevin McGlone, Paul Black and Hoskin are still in the top 3, not in that order. That's 3rd to 1st. And there's 2 seconds actually between Hoskin and Black, and then 2 seconds to Kevin McGlone. And then there's 2 seconds to Alex Martin and Anthony Mott here. However, you can see, oh, Hoskin! Hoskin, where have you gone? You're there! Why on earth? Oh, no, Mark Hoskin having an incident. All on his own here by the looks of it. Once leading this race and thrown it away. Too much curb for the BDM driver. That's really gutting for Mark. I was cheering for Mark there. It was, again, one of the drivers I picked out in qualifying as a good driver. Seems to always get to the front of the pack, but then never really stays there, unfortunately. Anthony Mott, speaking of getting to the front of the pack, however, a driver that does quite often stay there by his recent form, is going into the first corner, now in 3rd place ahead of Alex Martin. Only 1.3 second gap to Kevin McGlone. There's only a 1.8 second gap to Paul Black, so keep an eye on the progress of the Excite driver. He's making things very exciting. Paul Donkin then, he was in 3rd in the first race, and he is fighting with John Westbrook. Normally, that would be a fight for 3rd place. Although, it seems that if you look at the timing tower on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see it's actually a fight now for 11th as Alec Westbrook goes through on Barry Rabbit. Barry showing good pace here this evening. Christian Wafer's had a crash as well. He's had a few crashes. This is his first. Heading down towards a tricky braking zone there, the penultimate corner. You have to keep it to the right, but you have to measure the brake. And as he spins back round, I believe this may cause him for his second crash. Oh no, a couple of drivers seem to spawn out of nowhere for that one. And I believe... No, I'm not sure what's happened for him for his second crash. But either way. Alec Westbrook, though, is in 6th place. Oh, Anthony Mott has already caught up to Kevin McGlone in no time at all, has he? It's taken him exactly 1 lap to close down a 1.8 second gap to just 3/10 in 1 lap. He still has 5 laps now, sorry, to make up to 1st place, to make it 4 wins out of 5 races for Anthony Mott. Looks to the outside, but a good braking position there by Kevin McGlone, but not great exit by Paul Black. And I fear Paul may go from, yet again, 1st place down to 3rd in essence, 1 corner. No, he doesn't, but Anthony Mott does go into 2nd place. And he's looking to get a good run, and a good run he does. Defensive manoeuvre there by Paul Black. Doesn't let him back on into the circuit, but he's gone wide. He's locked up and gone straight on. And that's really unfortunate for Paul Black, but it is fortunate for Anthony Mott. Now, we're not saying he wouldn't have got there on his own merit, but he is there now, that's for sure. And he'll probably try and drive away from this. Alex Martin hunkered up to the back of Kevin McGlone after Kevin was obviously overtaken by Anthony. Now 3/10 of a second back from the driver ahead. What can he do about it? That is the question, as he clips his first apex. Doesn't get the second and runs wide, unfortunately. Where else are we looking? Havana's Gevorgian. Oh my days! Oh no! I'll tell you what, that's the first lift-off we've seen in quite some time here at Pure GT Racing. And that is, I'd say, probably quite a high compliment as they're going 3 wide over the start-finish line. Going towards the first corner, Alec Westbrook in the middle of this pack. Looks like Martin Thomas is involved. No, Barry Rabbit, sorry, is involved. And... I'm not sure what's happened there. Oh no, the Alpine car's gone sideways. It's Alex Martin, sorry, was the driver. I was trying to get my head around saying there, and there's a big incident, and we'll see if we can find out how on earth that came to be. I mean, we know how it came to be. It was obviously a 3-wide moment going into the first corner at Imola. It's always going to end slightly awkwardly, but we'll see if we can see exactly where it starts. So here we go, Alex Martin on the outside, Alec Westbrook in the middle, Barry Rabbit on the outside, and Alex Martin just going for that apex. Now, Alec Westbrook knew what was happening there, didn't he? It looks like Martin just went for an apex that Barry Rabbit is already holding, and that caused those two to spit out right into Alec Westbrook, who did really well to avoid the first one, but couldn't do anything about the second. Martin Thomas, I tell you what, he squeezed through nicely, didn't he? Slammed the brakes on a little bit. He had to, but squeezed through nicely there. Oh, Alec Westbrook's had another incident. This was with just behind Paul Black. Now, is it going to run wide? And is it going to go spit out into the wall? No, it's not. It's going... Oh! And a lock-up by Paul Black sends Alec Westbrook straight into the back of him there. Alec not expecting him to be quite going into the corner at that angle, I don't believe. Havana's Gevorgian hunting down Michael Tucker. 0.6 of a second between them. Anthony Mott has pulled out a gap, by the way, of 1.5 seconds. And Alex Martin has had another incident here. And it's lucky there's no... I say it's lucky. There's a reason why they haven't put any damage on these cars. Yeah, oh, just too much wheel spin coming out of the chicane there, wasn't it? Just a turnaround, over rotation of the car from Alex Martin. So as we look at Havana's Gevorgian trying to chase down Michael Tucker, we can give you a rundown of the order. Anthony Mott leads the race from Kevin McGlone, both drivers of which have gained 9 positions off the start. Barry Rabbit in 3rd place, gaining 1 position off the start. 4th place is Martin Thomas. John Westbrook's in 5th. 6th was Paul Donkin. Alec Westbrook in 7th place, started in 6th. Michael Tucker in 8th. 9th is Havana's Gevorgian, who you're currently watching. and Alex Martin in 10th after all that drama that they've been through. Richard Abra, by the way, who is a driver who's currently sat in the wall. A driver who proved very quick in qualifying has just ended up with a bit of an off. And let's find out why. Was it of his own doing? Was it colliding with another driver? Oh, a massive hit of the curb there. Spits him out, oh, turns him round, and then collides with another driver there. You need to always hold your brake if you are in a spin. Tell you what, Barry Rabbit and Martin Thomas have spiced things up, haven't they? Where they've just gone, I think it's Barry Rabbit going off track in the final corner has allowed Martin Thomas to catch up. Not only catch up, but go for a move in towards the first corner. We are on a lap 8 out of 10. Paul Donkin with a 37.9 is now the fastest lap of the race in 6th position. Taking that away from Anthony Motz, who I'm sure won't be very happy about that and will be trying to beat it. But if Paul is in the slipstream, which it looks like he is here because Barry Rabbit is shaking off Martin Thomas's approaches. And then John Westbrook, oh, goes a little bit wide. Now that is on the precipice of having a spin, isn't it? Let's face it. We've seen a lot of it happen this evening coming out of the second chicane. And Imola, a lot like Monza, the Italians love their chicanes. There is 3 chicane complexes here at Imola. Yeah, only 3 to be fair. There are 3 chicane complexes at Monza as well, which is pretty impressive. They must really like their chicanes here in Italy. Not really a very interesting fact, just something I thought of. As John Westbrook is thinking about a move up into one of the chicanes, but thought better of it. We've seen plenty of people try and make moves, but just because you're quicker doesn't mean it's always the best option to make the move then and there. It's better off sizing up your opposition and maybe making a pass when it's a little bit safer. Maybe if John Westbrook is smart here, he can get 2 positions in 1. What he needs to do, though, is get a good exit, a good clean apex and good exit out of the final corner here. And now getting into the slipstream with the drivers ahead, neither of them really made a mistake. So I don't think he's going to have the opportunity. In fact, there we go. A lot of drivers are trying to break the toe in front. Barry Rabbit and Martin Thomas and exactly that. John Westbrook's not having any of it, though, is he? He's just going on his own line. Doesn't need slipstream. You guys go ahead. You guys make your own mistakes. I'm going to mop up within the last 2 laps. He knows he's quick here, John, and he's every chance that he's a bit quicker than Martin Thomas, because in qualifying it looked like John had half decent 1-lap pace qualifying in 5th position. We'll see how he cracks on here. He's in 5th. He wants better though, as Martin Thomas comes off the corner a little bit slower. Westbrook looks up the inside. There's contact between the 2 of them, and it just looked like Thomas wasn't giving any quarter, was it? We'll have a quick look back at it though, and we'll go for a slightly different angle. Up the inside here. Now, this is on board with John Westbrook. Looks like, you can see that he's already turning. And in fact, Westbrook looks like he's running a little bit wide there. Maybe he doesn't get the car stopped enough. And you'll sort of see what I mean. If we just rewind it just a touch. And as they go into the corner, you can see that Thomas has gone wide and he's looking for the apex. Now, he should know that Westbrook is there. But Westbrook, as you can see, he's coming off the corner early. He's coming off the curb and running a little bit wide. I think Thomas was probably at the wrong angle and Westbrook probably was as well. Maybe you could probably put that down to a racing incident, because I think both were probably at fault. Anthony Motto starts his final lap of the race for the 2nd race in a row in the lead. And it's not quite by the same margin as the previous one, but he has just set the fastest lap of the race. He wanted those plaudits as well, with a 37.35, not quite as quick as the qualifying time that he put it on pole position for, but it is quick enough to take the fastest lap here this evening as well, the 2nd time. And as I said, not quite the margin that he had in race number 1. He had a good 8-second margin in race 1, only 4 here in race number 2. We have to tell him to pull his finger out slightly. But it looks like he's fairly comfortable. He knows what he's doing. We've already seen he knows how to win races. He's won 3 out of 4. And this will make it 4 out of 5 here for the Excite driver, who joined the series a little bit earlier on, a couple of rounds ago, but wasn't quite able to get it all hooked up. He wasn't quite able to avoid the crashes. And in pure GT social races, it's quite often those who survive the crashes can finish high up the order, and it's all about not making mistakes as well, which, to be fair to Anthony Mott, he hasn't made a single one. Kevin McGlone, a massive improvement from race number 1. He's currently in 2nd place, and all being well, touch wood, he should stay there as well, because he's got a huge gap forward and back. But speaking of the gap between Kevin McGlone and Anthony Mott, it is Anthony Mott who takes the checkered flag here for the 2nd time this evening here at Imola GP. Fantastic drive by him. Kevin McGlone comes across the line to take 2nd place. Barry Rabbit comes to take 3rd after probably what he feels he deserves after his qualifying performance. Paul Donkin, after a 3rd place in race number 1 in his debut, comes home with a race with 4th place in race number 2. Alec Westbrook, after qualifying in 2nd, had a torrid 1st race. Not the best 2nd race either, but will be happy to come with a 5th. John Westbrook must have had, well, he did have an off, we saw actually. Comes in 6th place with Havanas Gevorgian, 10th off. So as the drivers just finish up what they're doing, we're going to take you through the results for heat number 1, the first race this evening. This is how they finished up. Anthony Mott on 1st position, 9.1 seconds to good of John Westbrook in 2nd. Paul Donkin took home 3rd place on his debut. Martin Thomas was in 4th. Alec Westbrook in 5th, replicating his 2nd race of the week of the day as well. Havanas Gevorgian in 6th. Barry Rabbit in 7th. Michael Tucker 8th. Max Hunt in 9th. Paul Black in 10th. Kevin McGlone was in 11th. Greg Markoskin in 12th. Richard Abra in 13th. Alex Martin 14th. Okay. Yeah, no. Stop it. Alex Martin 14th. Anis in 15th. 16th was Christian Wafer. Andy Montgomery 17th. And Adam Hayes was in 18th, 1 lap down. And I think we had one more driver. Steve Gummer, 6 laps down. In the 2nd race of the evening, it was... just there we go. Anthony Mott on 1st place. Kevin McGlone in 2nd. Barry Rabbit on the podium again. For the first time this evening, sorry. In 3rd place. Paul Donkin just missing out on the podium in 4th. Alec Westbrook repeating his race 1 antics in 5th. 6th place was John Westbrook this time. Havanas Gevorgian was in 7th. Alex Martin in 8th. Martin Thomas 9th. 10th was Michael Tucker. Paul Black in 11th. Max Hunt in 12th. Adam Hayes in 13th. Richard Abra 14th. Andy Montgomery in 15th, Christian Wafer, Mark Hoskin and Anise were 16th, 17th and 18th. Mark Hoskin and Anise were also 6 laps down. So that is it for the first 2 races of the evening. We do have a 3rd coming up. And I'm just going to double check if we seem to be gridding up. So I'm just going to double check, see if we can... I think Richard Abra is out on track at the moment, and I will be back in a couple of seconds just to see if we're going to be going into another race in this server or whether we have to jump into another server. Hello everybody and welcome back to what will hopefully be a thrilling end to the evening's action. My name is Jack Oliphant and today we've got the third race of the Pure GT social races coming up for you. Oh dear. The sound has gone yet again, I believe. So I'm just working on getting that up for you, but you can read through the race order whilst I do such a thing. If the thing didn't crash. Matt Evans, thank you very much for the like on the stream. I'm just going to send you guys very quickly to the race because we're gridding up, and unfortunately I'm going to have to jump away as soon as this is done and sort out. I don't know if you guys can actually hear the audio. Please do let me know if you can, because I can't in my ears. Away we go. Martin Thomas with a fantastic start up from second place into first. Havana Gevorgian into second place now, but he gets loaded up the backside by what looks like Alex Martin, I think that was, who slotted into the second place position. And it's a good start, I have to say, by Martin Thomas. It's a terrible start by our pole man, Michael Tucker, though. Looks like to be trying to get a little bit more room onto the inside there, but it looks like it's John Westbrook's mounting him and has sent him straight into the wall. Apparently you guys can hear the sound, so that is good enough for me. I'll just keep it where I can't hear it. Oh, no, and now it's playing football in the background in my ears. There we go. Right, get rid of that. Thank you very much. As we see Paul Black has an incident, but Martin Thomas is leading the way. Barry Rabbit's in second place, followed by Alec Westbrook, and pretty much everybody else. They're going side by side. Anthony Mott is there. I'm sure he'll be sniffing a third race victory here and making it a clean... Oh, as he goes wide there at the chicane. It looks like he's going to be falling down the order. It's not to say he won't be back. It's just to say he won't necessarily do it as quickly as he was hoping. Martin Thomas leading away by 4 seconds ahead of Barry Rabbit, and then Alec Westbrook, and then Adam Hayes. Oh no, Barry Rabbit's having a spin. He'll be hopping mad after that one, I'm sure, and he'll be hopping mad after, I'm sure. He's probably heard that joke 1,000 times. In 7th place, Anthony Mott goes up to 3rd, and they're going 3, 4 wide. Going towards the first corner, Anthony Mott has that position done and dusted, but could the slipstream come back to hurt him? Tell you what, that's going to hurt big time, and Kevin McGlone into the wall! Kevin McGlone goes straight into the wall, and it's lucky there's no damage on for these cars. Otherwise, he'd have been impaled into the right-hand side there. Adam Hayes goes off as well, and that's all of a sudden settled down this podium position fight. Anthony Mott leads the way from them. Alec Westbrook in second. And then Martin Thomas 5 seconds up. Barry Rabbit still fighting with Adam Hayes by the looks of it. As John Westbrook now comes through the picture as well, followed by Max Hunt. Now this is the driver I would probably say you want to be keeping an eye out on. Having said that, I said that about John Westbrook, and then he made a mistake and it all went a little bit wrong for him. However, I'm a little bit more confident with this one because Anthony Mott hasn't yet made a mistake tonight. Fingers crossed, touch wood, all that sort of good stuff, but he hasn't made a mistake tonight. So there is no real reason why we can think that he might make one here as he tries to hunt down. He's been the fastest man on track in qualifying, race 1 and race 2. 2 race victories under his belt today so far. Let's see what he can get on with. Paul Donkin in 10th place, looking for an improvement though on Kevin McGlone. Kevin and Paul, really strong results in the second race, although that's a big mount of the curve there by Donkin. Looking to try and take any kind of advantage he can get over the driver ahead, and I don't think he really needs to try that hard as Hayes is going slowly. Why is that? I think he maybe just ran a little bit wide perhaps, or maybe got a slow down, I'm not entirely sure, but he's losing a whole host of places as Barry Rabbit goes towards the first corner with John Westbrook on his tail. Westbrook looking up the inside of Barry. There's a crash in the background. Unfortunately, they're the drivers that we were seeing before, Kevin McGlone and Donkin. I fear as Barry gets through and defends that from John, who's still throwing everything around the outside of him now, and he's going to continue to be on the outside of them going into the second chicane complex as well, and it's still Barry Rabbit ahead of John Westbrook. So a really good driving by them, but Barry goes wide. Barry carries too much speed, And John goes through into the hairpin ahead of everybody else and into the top 5. This is Donkin. I think it was Kevin McGlone we had an incident with earlier on. And Richard Abrams also had a couple of crashes. Donkin going up the inside of Adam Hayes now, swapping positions. Hayes is going to be on the inside. Donkin doesn't matter though. He slings it around the outside, but he does not get that car stopped. Really tricky braking zone, especially if you go too hot into it. Meets the wall, gives it a kiss, and then follows on like a bad date. Ivana Shivorgin is now the next driver, who's going to try and take advantage of Donkin. Struggling though a little bit, isn't he? Having said that, Donkin, we joined him I think when he was struggling to get into top 10, and he's had a 3rd place and a top and 4th already this evening. So don't count him out, is what I would say. Anthony Mott sets the purple, fastest lap of the race so far. And into the first corner he goes. 1.6 seconds, the gap between Alec Westbrook and Anthony. Now, Alec was the driver who has been as close to Mott as anybody else. He qualified in 2nd place, 0.4 of a second in the end. But for the majority of the qualifying session, it was actually where Alec on top. Then Anthony came in about 10-minute mark. He set a flying lap. Alec then got within about 1/10 of a second of Mott, only for him to be beat it by about 0.3 of a second himself. So we do know Mott has the ultimate pace. You look away briefly and Rabbit is gone. Yeah, it's that's how it goes on the Pure GT. You can't keep your eyes away. Quite often when I'm focusing on a little bit of a battle, I split away for half a second while we have a look at another overtake or a crash. We come back and all of a sudden there's been carnage just kicking off on the live footage. So it is really difficult to sort of time these things. But yeah, we're trying our best. We're trying our best here on Pure GT. Unfortunately, my co-commentator Ed May, who is usually on this stream with me nowadays, he is unfortunately not here this evening purely because he was planning on being here. And about 20 minutes before we went live, apparently his housemate, because he is at university in Lincoln studying law, much smarter than me, his housemate unfortunately decided that she would trip down the stairs and twist her ankle. And then Ed did the, very housematey thing, good friend and all that sort of thing, took her to hospital. So they've ended up there to get an x-ray to make sure it's not broken, basically. Which is why he's not here. However, the reason why Paul Black isn't on the circuit is a bit of a mystery, but he is facing the wrong way and now has, I believe, spawned back into the pits. So let's have a look and see if we can have a look. In fact, no, what we'll do is we'll have a look at Kevin McGlone's earlier incident on the start-finish line. Is this going to be a classic? Oh, that was very odd car movement there, I would say, by the purple car. I'm not entirely sure who that was, but I do feel for Kevin McGlone there. This is Richard Abra, a driver who has been very quick tonight, but not necessarily actually gone his way in the slightest in the Mercedes car. Yeah, just again, over-rotating it. Fast on a flying lap was Abra in qualifying, but didn't... Oh, no, and he spins right in front of somebody else as well. A bit of a dangerous rejoin, I would say, that one. So I just want to have a look at what happened to Paul Black, to be honest. Going into the penultimate corner then. A little bit of a lock-up, gets on the grass, spins, doesn't spin around. No, he has to crash into someone else before he does that. Into Donkin, and then ends up in the wall. Ends up getting himself stuck. He just doesn't see a safe rejoin happening, so he spawns back to the pit. So having a look at the other drivers that we've got going on here. Some drivers we haven't necessarily given a shout out to too much tonight. Christian Way from Mark Hoskin and Stephen Gummer have not joined us for the final race of the evening, which means we're pretty much running with 13 as Paul Black's jumped back to the pits now. Barry Rabbit is also in the pits, called it a night. We are essentially running with 13, so we'll give you a rundown of the full 13, shall we? Martin Thomas is leading the way. He should be on your screen. There he is. Doing a good job as well. 3 seconds. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. 2.5 seconds now. Between himself and Alec Westbrook, who, as I said, was extremely quick in qualifying. Anthony Mott in third place, sorry. Alex Martin in fourth, having a cleaner race this time round. Fifth is John Westbrook. Again, he's finished second so far, sixth, and now going to trying to split down the middle a little bit. Max Hunt in 6th place, 7th it's Adam Hayes, Richard Abra in 8th, even though he had that earlier incident. Kevin McGlone, after that massive incident on the start-finish straight, is in 9th. 10th is Havanas Gevorgian. 11th is Michael Tucker. 12th is Andy Montgomery, a driver we haven't really mentioned at all. In fact, let's give him some airtime. He was the driver actually that ended up taking out, well, he didn't take him out, he made contact with Richard Abra, I believe it was, who in the Mercedes car, a little bit gutting for Andy, sorry. John Westbrook, tell you what, all of a sudden caught up to the driver in front in Alex Martin. I'm not sure. There's nothing on the replay counter that says Alex Martin went and added off track or anything like that. So this is actually maybe just pure pace. Maybe there was a bit of a mistake by Martin, or maybe the fact that just can't quite get the pace underneath the car in the later stages. It is a 12-lap race, not a 10-lap race, which we have had in the previous couple of races, and 16 minutes tops on it, but I don't think we're going to reach that. Richard Abra going side by side into the first corner, it looks like, on Adam Hayes, and Abra does get past him around the outside. A good move by him there, and I'm sure he'll be hoping for a more consistent finish than he's had in the previous races. I'm going to have to jump off as soon as we are done. I think the server maybe started a little bit later, or the fact that we've had this feature race extended means we're running slightly over. But yeah, we'll fit all the racing in. Just maybe not the interviews right at the end. John Westbrook, though, he's really going strong, isn't he, into the fight with Alex Martin. But here we go, there we go. That's a fantastic way of getting the car stopped. A brilliant move by Alex Martin. Now, unfortunately, a little lockup meant they didn't quite get the run out of it. And Westbrook looks to the outside into the chicane. There's a dangerous move to go side by side. And Westbrook knows that clearly as Martin now pulls away a little bit more of a gap. Again, Anthony Mott is within a second, just sort of, not really anymore, of Alec Westbrook, though. So both Westbrooks are going to be on your screen hot and heavy, I'm sure, in the final couple of the stages of this race. Another fastest lap by Anthony Mott, a 37.2. And in fact, the top three, they've gone from about 2 seconds. Well, actually, Martin Thomas was 3 seconds ahead at one point of Alec Westbrook. Now, all three of them are within a second of each other, basically. Alec a second behind Martin Thomas, but a second ahead of Anthony Mott, as we're currently sat watching John Westbrook and Alex Martin, which was a fight that was heating up about a lap ago. Alex seems to have got a little bit of pace about them, trying to pull a little bit more of a gap with the Alpine car, but Westbrook throwing that car on the outside there, and now up the inside he goes and into 4th position. A good drive out of here. We'll see the move done and dusted, but it's a better exit, has to be said, by Alex Martin. What can they do to try and get back at Westbrook's? Looking at the inside of a very fast one-line corner is not probably going to be the answer, unfortunately. So it is going to be John Westbrook's position, 16 seconds ahead, behind of Anthony Mott, and the fight that is going currently down for the race lead. Kevin McGlone goes past Savannah's Gevorgian as well. I think Gevorgian's had an incident. Alec Westbrook locks up, slides, four-wheel drift through the penultimate corner, but gets it back collected and didn't lose too much time, it has to be said. On to the 9th lap we go, out of 12. As they cross the start-finish line, Alec Westbrook takes that purple time away from Anthony Mott, and you can see how much all of a sudden they're in the slipstream, how much it's advantageous to the cars. And then they get a touch of wash, but not too much. It's still better to be in the slipstream than it is to be out of it, that's for sure. They're not quite aerodynamically resistant as F1 cars, which means that as soon as they get into the slipstream, you do get a gain of top speed, but not as much of a loss through the corners. Less than 0.2 of a second now between them, almost less than a tenth, as they're going towards the left-hander again. It's a tight line, a one-line corner, but Alec Westbrook gets that race lead, and he's desperate to hold it because he knows full well that if he's going to start fighting with Martin Thomas, he needs Thomas in second place, because Anthony Mott is going to be hot on the tail of both of them. It's going to be a thrilling end, thrilling final corner to finish, final quarter to this race, it has to be said. So now it's Martin Thomas's opportunity to be in the slipstream. It's one thing chasing, it's another one being chased. It's a lot more difficult to be the one out in the race lead. But as I say, that a lock-up from the leader means all of a sudden the top three are split by less than half a second, or less than a second, I should say, really, because Martin Thomas didn't actually get a fantastic run out of the final corner. And Anthony Mott, as they, well, that looks like the white flag being waved, but it shouldn't be. Oh, it's contact! Martin Thomas and Anthony Mott. Thomas has come out much worse there than Mott, who is still in second place. It has to be said, like, Martin Thomas is still in third place, and will probably be relatively safe ahead of Alex Martin, because John Westbrook has gone down to 6th all of a sudden, but it's still not the way they wanted to finish that one. First of all, let's have a look at John Westbrook and why he's now down to 6th. That's why. A little bit of a spin. Keeps the tyres locked up and tries to spin it back round. Richard Abra gets past, as well as Alex Martin. And this is the contact. Now, we're going to try and go on board, but it looks, I mean, we'll try and go a little bit further back than that. As Anthony Mott moves to the left-hand side, is there a space there? Because that's the critical thing. Is there enough space for Anthony Mott? I would say there is. And then Martin Thomas comes heavily across, doesn't he? It's not the natural angle for the car to be going out for the racing line. You can sort of see it. If we just move it on, there we go. It's not the natural angle for Thomas to be facing at that point. His wheel is straight, and he's heading towards the white line left-hand side of the circuit, whereas actually you really want to be facing a lot like Anthony Mott here, and the driver ahead of Alex Westbrook wide, so you can attack the next corner as best you can. That's the checkered flag. Well, it says lap 11 out of 12 play. Well, that's the checkered flag. Apparently, Alex Westbrook takes the victory ahead of Anthony Mott. Martin Thomas in third place. I have absolutely no idea why it says 12 laps. Maybe we ran out of time. I believe that's it. We ran out of time. I think it was 16 minutes, which I thought we were going to be safe from. But it looks to be that we weren't. So the little man waving the white flag was right, and the graphic was not. So let's bring up the final race results of the evening as soon as they're available to us. We've got Paul Donkin coming across the line just behind Andy Montgomery. And Adam Hayes, Havanas Gevorgian, Kevin McGlone to round out the field. Here is Kevin McGlone, and once he has crossed the line, we should be able to bring you the full race results. And as he crosses the line, we can now bring you the results of the feature race of the evening. Alex Westbrook takes the overall victory, only 0.6 of a second ahead of Anthony Mott. Martin Thomas was in third, with fourth being Alex Martin. Fifth place was Richard Abra, John Westbrook in sixth, Max Hunt in seventh, Michael Tucker in eighth. Ninth was Andy Montgomery. 10th was Paul Donkin, a little bit further down than he was in previous races, but still a good showing on his debut. Havanas Gevorgian in 11th, Kevin McGlone in 12th, Adam Hayes 13th, Paul Black 14th, Barry Rabbit was in 15th, Christian Way for 16th, Mark Hoskin, sorry, I just realised how many drivers we had, so many laps down. Paul Black was 7 laps down, Barry Rabbit 15 laps down, Christian Way for 10 laps down. Then we had Steve Gummett 10 laps down, Mark Hoskin 10 laps down, and last but not least, Anis 10 laps down as well. So that is all your racing for the evening. That is all 3 races for the Pure GT done and dusted. I'd like to say, I think, a big thank you for everybody who has watched, commented, liked, and everything like that this evening. Been a pleasure. The Pure GT giving us as exciting races as ever here at Imola. My name has been Jack Oliphant, and thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. If you are around on Friday, then there is the Next Gen GTE iRacing League, which is covered here live on Jacko Racing at 8 o'clock. Be sure to give that a check out. I can't actually remember off the top of my head where we are this week coming up, but I'm sure it'll be exciting nonetheless, especially the last few weeks of anything to go by. There's so many different winners and so many interesting races as well. Congratulations to our race winners, Anthony Mott and Alec Westbrook. We'll see you next time.